Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. It is Tuesday, November 21st. Today, Annihilus releases and I believe changes the game of Marvel Snap. Today is also my wife's birthday. I love you, Carla. Have a wonderful birthday. Before we go any further, I'd like to invite you to hit subscribe to the channel. We bring you everything you could need for Marvel Snap, bundle guides, 2 to 3 decks every single weekday and Sundays too, tournament reviews, name it, we have it. If we can add it, let me know and I'll do my best to do so. Subbing is totally free. It helps support us so we can help bring you the best content we can every day. Next up, we have Annihilus. Series 5, 6,000 tokens. On reveal, your cards with 0 less power switch sides, destroy those that can't. He is a 5/7. That is pretty good stats for an ability with no downside. So your cards with 0 less power switch sides is fine, right? Like, that's really, really strong. Obviously, you can clog an opponent's board and lock them out of turn 6 completely, meaning that they're going to retreat. You're never going to get 8 cubes that way if they realize they can't play, but they're going to retreat and you'll be fine. Destroy those that can is silly, right? Like, that's, oh, well, I can't send that goblin back, so it just explodes. That's going to be crazy powerful. That second thing is going to be crazy powerful and also opens up extra builds for Annihilus. He's stellar. He's not good. He's going to be stellar. At least that's my personal belief right now. I can see him being so frustrating that his stats get lowered. I can see him so frustrating that something changes. Because I think right now, I mean, if you're not like Destroy is going to maybe keep him in check. Your hope is that Destroy keeps him in check if you don't like the card. But like right now, Debris on 3, right? And then I don't know, a if you did Hood, Viper, Debris, right? And then you drop a Goblin, you've filled 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 of the opponent's 12 spots. That seems backbreaking. Okay. Let's take a look at variants. I know some of you decide what to buy based on what variants are out. So we've got the Ida. I think it's actually Ida, and I spelled it wrong. Oopsie. This one's actually really pretty. I like it a lot. It is very cool. It's rare only, so I may actually grab 2 Annihilus variants. I assume I'm going to be playing this card a lot. We've got the hip, which obviously I'm going to buy. I'm at, I want to say 85 hips. I'll double check soon and get back to you. This one's beautiful. It is a rare. It comes out 11/25, which is Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday or so, whatever. Whenever it comes out, I'm grabbing it. It'll be in my shop. It's mine. Next up, we have the only other variant we have is a Steampunk Spotlight variant coming out 1/16. That is when Annihilus returns to shops. So if you're interested in this card and would rather wait until 1/16, please feel free to do so. I think, like, honestly, and again, this is opinion, it's super early. There's a reasonable chance this ends up nerfed by then. So, let's see. Okay. The Spotlight variant is this one. It's real pretty. If you want it, I can't blame you. You could also aim for that Rion Gonzalez X23. That's one of the best variants in the game. I have another really great X23, the one from the last set of spotlights. But if I get this on the way, look, I'm gonna be mad. And then Chibi Daken. I like little raccoons watching him play karate, but I've got a hip, so I don't really need it. Also, I think his claws look kind of dumb in this. So I don't like it. But hey, 2 out of 3 great variants ain't bad. All right, this is the Junk King. This is the brand new Junk King. I listed some of the cards that work with him: Sentry, Debris, Hood, Man-Thing, Scorpion, Hazmat. Sentry is obviously stellar with him because then it's a 4/10 with no downside, right? It either gives them -10 or it blows that up. Man-Thing is great. It makes a bunch of cards have negative power on your side that you can then chuck at the opponent to make them really bad. Hood, same idea. It's 6 power with no downside. Scorpion and Hazmat are obviously more dangerous, but great. All right. I don't know if you guys know Drewberry Snap. I assume you do. He's, I don't know, pretty much like consistently bigger than me. But he does basically a ton of Snapper Pass stuff, new and custom card stuff, and he makes some of the best infographics. So we're going to take a look at his infographic about cards and talk about it in a minute. Props to Drewberry. Before we go any further, though, right after we do that, we're going to look at like 7 or 8, maybe even more than that, Annihilus decks. Just these are my day one brews or other major creators' day one brews that I thought were interesting and worthy of talking about. They're all different. If you want to get Annihilus and you don't find anything you like with the card, jump on the Marvel Snap Zone Discord, shoot me a message. I will happily custom build you an Annihilus deck that I think will work best with your personal collection. You just have to message me. Also, if you're not done with Series 3, I'll do the same thing so that like you can play something good that'll keep you playing the game. Um, I usually make a document and I build like 4 to 6 decks, depending on how far you are, that I think are worth playing and you can compete with as you get more cards. Okay, the cards and tokens with 0 or less power. We've got the Void, Century's Void. We talked about that already. It's great. Hobgoblin and Green Goblin get worse with Annihilus out, like significantly worse, I would say. The Hood is amazing. The Ninja that pops out of what is it, Shadowlands is pretty damn good. Widow's Bite, Black Widow is in all of these decks, and now I'm not sure it is, but maybe, right? Like if you're not playing a mirror, it's a great card. Mr. Negative, giving your opponent a Mr. Negative seems fun, but probably not worth it. The Mysterio Illusions are a nice filler that will crowd your opponent's board, although it is going to give them the real Mysterio as well, because it's showing 0 power at the time. We've got Mjolnir, which is, again, probably not super likely to happen, but fine. Ironheart, the Rock is a really nice thing to give, high debris. And Iron Man, you really don't want to give your opponent as a general rule, but if you happen to have Iron Man out on your side and then play it, it's going to jump to the other side. The next set of cards are cards that are very unlikely to have 0 power, or the 0 power is unlikely to matter. Except, I don't know why Cerebro's down here. Cerebro's 3 and Mystique's 0 power really do matter in the same way Iron Man does. But actually, so does Dracula. I don't know. I didn't make the infographic, but Sunspot will likely have 1 power or 2 power by then. Same thing for Kitty. You can give them a Warlock late game, which probably clogs them and annoys them. Morbius, you've probably discarded something. Morph turns into something unless you foolishly accidentally played a Banded Cosmo. Mystique and Cerebro are very bad to give an opponent. Be very careful. Darkhawk is gonna basically never be a 0. Dracula will, though. You can give him Dracula. Kang should not be on the board. He should reset himself and not be given. Taskmaster will copy power. As long as that power is not 0 or negative, he'll be set. Null, something will be destroyed ideally. And Zola, if you give them Zola, who cares? Zola did what it did. All good? That's every card in Snap that, without getting afflicted or anything else, is affected by Annihilus. Also, look at the buggy eyes that Drew put on Annihilus. You love it. You love to see it. Cool. Let's get to the decks. Our first deck is a Galactus Junk combo. Tio Jarston, a Marvel Snap content creator, made this. I think it's really cool because basically, all right, so here's the drill, right? You drop a Sentry on 4, and then you drop Annihilus on 5, and then you Galactus, and your Galactus has 15 power. It has more than 15 power if you you combine that with like pushing a Hood over there and then Iron Fisting that Viper away or throwing a Green Goblin there. Seems good, right? Like your Wasp and Yellow Jacket are nice. They're just ways to trigger Ms. Marvel because you can win other ways, right? Like if you go Jean and Ms. Marvel mid, then you can go Annihilus and push some shit over, right? Like just junk them up while you're winning the center lane. I think this is a brilliant, brilliant list, and I'm really excited to try it. I don't usually like Galactus unless it's weird. Like I hit Infinite with the Galactus Loki once, but generally speaking, like I'm not a big Galactus fan. But this is such jank. I'm in love. Also, would not shock me if this was good. All right, bouncing junk. This is Den. I woke up the other day to Den going, I think I made something. I think I made something. I think I made something. Uh, this looks nuts, right? Like Werewolf by Night and Nihilus seem like they're besties, and that like your opponents like not a lot. It's not going to take a lot of power to win these games, or it shouldn't take a lot of power to win these games, because your opponent's gonna have like a Hood on their side and like all that other stuff, all that other good stuff. Uh, I think I'd probably cut Bast here. I think Bast is bad. Bast would be America Chavez. I don't know what the hell that Bast is doing there, but here we are. And then you just give everything a million negatives on their side, right? Like you give negatives and then you give them cards, and then you don't care that cards had negative. Win game of Snap and happy smile. You do that a couple times, right? Like you forge up your Nico to be a reasonable size. You Widow's Bite, and then you give them a bunch of crap that keeps their power down. And then Annihilus wins one lane with 7, and Werewolf wins another game with whatever stupid power it gets to 17. Enjoy. This seems completely sick. This is one I threw together earlier. It's trying to use Ravona as a way to like really help. The idea here is that you just Luke stuff if you want to, and if not, you can Ravona. I feel like debris into absorb men into Annihilus is completely stupid. So that's what this does. You can throw debris in hazmat in here if you really want to. Ravona makes Widow cost 1, so you can spend your turn 4 if you go debris. You can go Widow into Green Goblin, and then you can Annihilus that all over. Like, I don't know how you lose these games at that point. Rogue is here to counter the opponent Luke, and then you just say, cool, I win with my low power. You just don't have space to play. This should be a total lockup deck, and it should be really, really good. Next up, we have Dara Junk. Dara's had a couple junk versions that have been really good lately. This is the first one. It is basically just saying, okay, so what if I run Annihilus in it? And so, what if it runs Annihilus? It fills up a lane with Doc Ock. It can blow some stuff up with Annihilus. It should work really, really well at lowering their power outcomes, saying you don't have space to play the game. And if you do manage to get something big out, well, that's what Shang-Chi is for. Dara's other one, it's Backsplash. This is Bounce Junk. Um, it's not as cloggy. It clogs a little bit. You don't need a ton of clog here. But Gladiator says I can clog something or like lock up a lane or whatever, and then Shang-Chi can help you win that lane as necessary. While like you can beast things back and just move everything all over the place. You basically remove a card from their hand with Spider Ham. You stop a draw with Black Widow. You shove a hood over there while you have a demon. You Shadow King anything of theirs that becomes a problem. And then you say, okay, so Werewolf and Annihilus, and then you win the game. I think this is also going to be absolutely stellar deck. Juno built a technical death deck. Juno Tutres is a streamer that I like a lot. He had Doc Ock in here. I figured Nihilus is just better because I can fill their board with stones. I'll hold my Soul Stone, right? Or, I'll give him my Soul Stone, but I have Space Stone, I have Mind Stone, I have, whatever, you know what the stones are. Time, space, etc., that are just junk, right? I can kill them with Carnage and Killmonger, or I can fill up their space. And then, like, with their limited space, I can, if I, if I don't have space, I'm just destroying those cards, right? Like, I'm getting rid of all those cards. Well, guess what? They're destroyed. Now my death is cheap. So I have a nice cheap death to play. I have an, Goliath to play. I should win. I think this is going to be really, really good. I think this is my sleeper deck, all of them. Spoiler, don't tell anyone about this deck, but I think it's going to be completely, completely nuts and super strong. Um, I also think Professor X does a great job, like on turn 4, of winning you a lane so that like you don't have to worry about anything else. And then like if Professor X isn't working, you just drop Sentry on 4 if you don't get your ramp, and then you've got Annihilus. And again, like you've got all those stones and that hood out, right? And Jeff is out and so on. And like you push a bunch of crap over, and if you don't, and like you get a nice cheap death that you can play maybe with Shang-Chi. And if you don't do that, well, guess what? They don't have space to play you with. This is good stuff. Annihilus, everything seems to go with Darkhawk, right? We already know Man Thing goes with Darkhawk, so why not add Sentry and Annihilus? It's the entire logic here. The Hood and Widow are good. Throw debris in. Say you don't really have space. I'll make all the things you do play negative, and then I drop Annihilus to win. And if I don't get Annihilus, well, guess what? Darkhawk is here. You can even throw like a couple goblins in here. I think this is probably better without goblins because I really want to have space for Luke Cage for my Man Thing. But like Man Thing should be a 9-ish power card here and just win lanes alone. Darkhawk should win lanes alone. Sentry as a 4/10 is still stellar. Like Rogue ruining people's lives. This is another one I'm really excited for. I'm really excited for this card, guys. Really excited for this card. These builds are really cool. Like look at these two. These aren't even like standard Annihilus builds. They're just places that run Annihilus because it's good. You can also tell that I like this one a lot because I went to the trouble of putting my variants in it because next up, I believe last, Safety has Junkrats. This is look, I've come to terms with that Safety is usually brilliant at this. This is the version that's built to beat Destroy, in that it runs Shadow King and Armor. It basically says you cannot destroy the junk I give you. Enjoy it. It is yours now. Once you've given them all that junk, And like you will have space to like throw junk over and a destroy matchup, right? So you don't have to worry as much about like getting your sentry thing stuck there. Then you can just Shadow King off their venom and stuff and just enjoy your wins. This should be sick too. I am so excited for this card. Like, look at all these brand new lists, right? Like, we don't have these lists, and now we didn't have these lists, and now we do, and they're going to be. Some of them are going to be good. Okay, his downside is mitigated by the destroy clause. So, like when he doesn't work, he just destroys stuff, which means death is going to be super cheap. Fine. Um, if that becomes a huge problem down the line, then Mobius will go in these decks. So that might give him extra upside to be run with death, basically saying um, like I can run let's just say for example, I can run Winter Soldier in deck, right? Like Bucky, excuse me. And if I chuck them a Bucky and they're not playing Destroy, now they have a 2/1 clogging up a space on their board. And if I destroy it, then I have 6 power for 2. Either way works. Destroy should mostly kill Annihilus, but if you enjoy junk, you're not going to see every match be Destroy. If you watched yesterday's video, you know post-infinite Destroy is the most common deck, but it's not that common pre-infinite, at least right now. So, he's one hell of a build around if you like junk at all. I think I'm leaning toward this just being a yes, but let's look at X23 and Daken. Daken, Series 5, 6,000 tokens, a former season pass card. On reveal, add the Muramasa Shard to your hand. Muramasa Shard's a 1/1. When this is discarded or destroyed, double Daken's power. It's a 3/4 that if the shard is destroyed becomes a 3/8, but you can pump far higher than that. I like Daken a lot. I think Daken's a really well designed card. I also think Daken's extremely underrated. The versions of discard that run Daken work significantly better. They have significantly higher ceiling than those that don't. 3/8 is slept on. That is better than Gladiator, right? And better than, like, everyone went crazy for Gladiator 3/7. If you're automatically going to get rid of the shard, a 3/8 is great. First, we have King Venom's Dakini Bomb. This is our standard discard list for the week. I like King Venom, so I decided to feature his list. He's a Spanish language player that's really cool. I mean, basically, when you Modoc or Hellcow or whatever, or Colleen, you hit the shard, and then Nebula gets your opponent playing where you want them to. You like it when they play where you want them to when you're an Apocalypse deck because that's where you drop Dracula, right? Like they either ignore it and Nebula gets huge and wins, or you just drop Dracula there and then you drop like 30 power in that lane and they're Sag, right? And then you can win another lane because Daken and Modoc alone is 16 power, and then you throw a couple swarms in there and you're 22 power. This card is really, really good and extremely underrated. So this is one of the best, if not the best, discard list. Nebula could also be Blade if you don't have Nebula. The Nebula version has a higher win rate, so I put that in there. But Daken is awesome in this list. Our other Daken list comes from our friend Perry Manilow. This was a like 3-cost Ravona list. That's win rate is still really high, so I need to like test this a little bit more in the modern meta. Again, you can see how much I like a deck, how much I plan to play it, see how that's all base variants. I'm gonna play this one some. So I also like, because like almost everything in this deck is either a hip or a baby variant besides the Jacinto and the Noir. So we've got like the hip Blade, the hip Zola, the hip Daken, the hip Ravona, the hip Dracula, and then we've got and Sif, and then we've got baby Mobius, Modoc in America. You'll love to see it. Okay, so what this list wants to do, it can do the exact same thing as the last list, right? It can do the I play Daken as a 3/8 on to play with my Modoc, and then Morbius gets big, and then I end the game by Draculaing Apocalypse. Works real well. Other thing you can do is you can Daken or Dracula. So far so good. And then you can spend turn 5, double either Daken or Dracula. Then you can spend your last turn Modocking. And now you've discarded 3 shards and you have 16 power Dakens, right? That seems nice. You've got a giant Morbius, or you can double Dracula and you just discard that Dracula twice. Either which way is extremely powerful, and I strongly urge you to try this out. It is stupidly fun. You need Ravona, right? Because otherwise Zola is too expensive. But if you have Ravona on 2, then you can go Daken or Dracula into Zola into Modoc and just profit. If not, Then you go, oops, Mobius into Daken or Dracula, into Draken, Dracula, or Sif or Dracula, whatever. Then you go Modok, and then you go Apocalypse, and you're perfectly happy, and you win the game of Snap that way. There's lots of ways to win games of Snap with this deck. It's real strong. If yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You should try this deck. It's really good. I like this deck so much. This is so I like to play things like Bounce where you have a lot of decisions, and discard is really good, but like it's fairly linear, so I don't love it as much. Not this one. This one is sweet. So please try it out. If you get Daken this week, or if you just have these cards. I know Ravona's in it. There's just not a lot of good homes. You can throw Daken into your regular Deadpool destroy decks, but he's like just mid there. For example. This is the best version of this I could find. It's a fine list, right? Like it's not incredible. Your basic idea here is that Nova pumps Deadpool and Daken and Nimrod, and or Zola on Daken or Deadpool is really good. And then you kill a shard and you have a 18 power Daken and a nice cheap death, or you have that stupid huge death that you can then do lovely with. Either way works. I would like X23 in this deck more than Nico Minoru, but hey, what do I know? I think that's this is a really strong deck. X23 is Series 5, 6,000 tokens. This 1/2, when it is discarded or destroyed, regenerates at a random location with +1 energy. It's got one real home, but it is a necessity in that home, and that home is one of the most played and most popular and most powerful decks in all of Marvel Snap. It is Classic Destroy. If you love Deathpool, go get X23. Period. End of story. This is the version with the highest win rate that I found. It's super basic. I was surprised to see Yondu over the hell is Yondu in here over? Who cares? Yondu's in here over something. But Yondu's in here over Hulkbuster in the highest win version. Cool. It's an extra destroy for death, and it kills stuff for null, and so on and so forth. It's a very good card. I guess getting your death cheap has more value than getting your Deadpool huge in some ways. Fine. Either way, X23 lets you cheat out your big stuff sooner, make sure you have enough energy for all your plays. This deck has always been good, but always was felt like it was one energy off, really going off. Well, welcome to X23, that one energy for doing what the deck wants to do anyway. It's great. Play it. If you get X23, this is the build, right? There's also Nico's good, but like Nico can just go. She's not pivotal to the deck. Nico would be Hulkbuster or Bucky. But you do really want Null for this list. It loses a lot if you don't have Null. Null being like 30 power wins a lot of the time for this. The other home I found that I like a lot, this deck still has a really high win rate too, is Royce Townsend. Hey Royce, it's Destroy Lactus. This one's pretty damn good. X23 works as sort of your backup Electro, so you can Galactus on turn 5. All you want to do is Galactus on 5, so you can Eliath on 6. You have an okay win condition in other situations here, in that you can drop a Hobgoblin and then drop a Galactus, and that often works. And if you can destroy enough stuff with cards like Lady Deathstrike, Killmonger, or Venom, and Carnage, then you can end up getting a nice cheap Death and Eliath win games. Deathstrike is here, by the way. Like, if you're not going to be able to get Galactus off, you Deathstrike on top of your like X23 and Wolverine, and then you X23 Wolverine Electro, and then you drop Deathstrike on them on turn 5, and then you have 7 energy the next turn because you killed X23 and you have Electro, so you're going to town. This deck is cool. It is quite cool. Play it. Be happy with it. You will enjoy it. If you like Galactus, look here. All good? So conclusions. If you're spending this month, if you're spending Spotlight Caches or tokens, this seems like the place I would do so. You're not required to spend, though, and as always, I could be wrong. No one's right about everything. Again, for the 10 millionth time, most creators thought Phoenix was going to be great upon release. She had to be buffed mid-season. I thought Ghost was going to be great. I was wrong. Most people thought Legion was going to be garbage. I thought Legion was going to be at least good. Turned out to be great. I was right about Legion, but almost everyone was wrong. Almost everyone thought Loki was going to be mid. Loki's one of the best cards in all of Marvel Snap ever made. so on and so forth. The examples are limitless. We can keep going about this if you want. Uh, People thought Darkhawk was going to be a fine card and ended up being one of the important cards in the snap. So on, so forth. But like we're also right a lot, so don't think we're idiots either, right? Like everyone knew Zabu was good. We knew what X23 was going to be. We thought Daken would be good, not great, so on and so forth. Like there's we have more right than we do wrong, but no one is always right. So that being said, take everything with a grain of salt. So there's nothing wrong with waiting and seeing, right? He is with 2 unique Series 5 cards, so if you need either, that is a huge token win. Anytime you can get multiple Series 5 cards from one set of collector's caches, that is good to go. Unless you need both of these cards, though, as always, I don't suggest you open unless you have 4 collector's caches. But Rian Gonzalez X23 is gorgeous. It's going to be real hard not to open for that for me. I really want it. It's so pretty. Um, and finally, I'm super high on Annihilus, like super high. But check back in by Friday if you're not sold, and I'll update then. And I'm also going to give you one final update Monday before he leaves Spotlight. So if you're not sold, you can wait. Whether I was a content creator who gets everything or not, this is a card I would get. I am all in on Annihilus. I'm not convinced that junk is where he's going to be great. I think those destroy lists and those like Darkhawk lists are going to be sick. I think he changes Snap and how we have to look at the board forever. That's it for today. Once again, please like, please sub, please hit that notification bell. We'll be back tomorrow with another great video. Happy birthday to the love of my life. I'll see y'all tomorrow for another Snap Take. Have a great day.